Hello everyone. So you already know about the NeuroStash project, and I've shared you the GitHub repository. You can check out the code base and the documentation too. And I've shared you the guidance about how we are managing it and how we are building about it and the design idea and everything, how to configure it locally. So today I'm going to show you how to set it up locally, how to run the application. So from the scratch we are going to build the image and we're going to start running it in the Docker because there are like multiple microservices together orchestrated and they need a single management uh, manner to manage them, and that's through Docker Compose, and that's going to manage everything about it. Let's just dive in. Let's just see. We'll navigate to this directory where I have my Docker file. You can see in the Docker folder I have this Docker Compose YAML, and basically if we try to understand it, it's in open source. The code is still in the open source and it's everything there. But still I want to show you that we have orchestrated multiple services, which is etcd min io. Those two services are required because of the Milvus, because those are working for the background for the Milvus container, Postgres for our application database, and our application itself is a Dockerized container, and we are locally storing them in the volumes for persisting that data, and so that every time we run it, it has data stored. And so this single compose file is easily deployable. You can, you know, deploy it in your VPS and work with it. It's very simple. Let me run it locally to just show you the demo. So we have a make file which have predefined commands. Let me show you what commands those are. And those are the commands, and we're gonna run those commands. Make first we're gonna build image. Whenever you are first time running the application, first time building the cloning this whole project and running it, you need to first build the image to make it run, because initially you don't have image about it. So we will do make build, and let's just build it. And this is kind of fast process right now for me because it has already cached all those data because I've already built it. But whenever it's your first time, and those are kind of dependencies where those dependencies wouldn't be installed, so it's going to take some time. It is going to take a while about time, because like it's going to take around 400 to 500 seconds to build, because they are like big container, and the size is going to be big because like it's of 6 GB, because 2 GB of those whole container idea is taken from this what we say Milvus, and Milvus cover like 2.5 GB and Minio covers much of it. But the containers about our application, which is very lean because we use Python Slim, and our Postgres is also very lean database because it's Alpine. But whole Milvus dependencies, it's very heavy because in itself it's a vector storage, high dimensional searching tool. So that's why it's going to be heavy, and that makes the size of an image heavy. Now let's just run it, and what we'll do is make run, because this is the first time we're running. And let's say let's just start it. Okay, I guess so data has been persisted because I already ran it, and I guess volumes would have data, so it would fetch data from that. So I wanted to show you about the API key, how we receive it. Let me open my mail. This mail I got when I just set it up. I got mail earlier, and this is kind of the mail it looks. This is what the mail you receive when you're first initially running the application, because you have passed a specific email ID, and the email ID which has this API key, which receives this API key, has the admin privileges. Let me explain you how the user management works and how things are working. I guess let's just see. Yes, the applications has been started, and if we wanted to inspect that application has been started, we are going to inspect through logs, and for that we have a command make logs, and our service name is app server. That's why we are going to pass that as an argument. We got this info and it's working through. See, we are getting the get API endpoint for health check via Docker. And this has been working great and the application has started. Okay, and that's a good thing. Let me just show you how we are making user management form. So basically, under user management, we have two entities. One is admin, another one is a normal user. So what kind of privileges admin has is like admin has all the privileges. I would say admin is like boss of this application. But user has some limited privileges about, those privileges are like less privileges. What could be those less privileges? Let me explain to you. From this all endpoint we can see there are common endpoints that are both applicable to both the user. See, one thing is user cannot registers new user. Only admin could register the new user, and they could promote a new user, and they could delete the user, and they could list. Means all the endpoints for working with the users are going to be admin privilege, not user privilege. But the common endpoints, the document management, because it's a multi-tenant system. When there is multi-tenant system, you have all those users. You don't differentiate who's admin and who's not. So those endpoints are common, and those are applicable to any of the admin and user both. And generate token, generate API key, and all that stuff. Maybe this collection pull stats is for admin only. It's not for user, because admin is going to monitor the system. That's why collection pull stat is support. And one more thing I wanted to explain, that we have a good documentation. Let me go you how it's working. Like, let's say if we are hosting the application on port 8000 docs. So here it's the Swagger UI, which you can try in the browser. Maybe you can try it on in the browser. It's a good thing. You have to provide the token via here, and then you have to set the token from there. And for just reading documentation, we have redoc. This is all the details you have for the request body and for failure message and everything. And this is the best part about the stack which I chose, because the documentation are generated automatically. It's like less headache to maintain account. So it's a great part about the fast API. And so let's just see. I was explaining about the user management. We describe about the privileges, what privileges those have, and admin could do anything. Another thing is, which I would share, is that admin could promote. Initially user are registering themselves. So I guess registering themselves is, I guess, admin, not an admin privilege. Maybe user. Let's just see. Let's do NeuroStash. Let's generate. We have our environment key. Let's set it up. I'm using Postman because it's friendly, and I'm just used to the Postman. That's why I already work with the Postman. I don't like the UI of that browser thing. That's why I don't use the browser API endpoints. But it's a good thing, But Redoc provides you the whole documentation thing which could work. Let's just generate token. When it's generated token, you can see in the logs. The API endpoint, see, it's coming. And I'm going to set this JWT token. Once that token has been set, what we're going to do next is we're going to see if registered user is admin privilege or maybe user. Let's see if we change it to user, maybe could not validate credentials because those were properties. Let's just create a user and let's just see. See, if we created the user, let's just set it here to check out the privileges what user has. NeuroStash. There we go. User API key. Then we set it. Let's just generate token for the user and change it to user API key. The management is easy when you're working with the Postman. It's really easy when you're managing through Postman the API endpoints. We set it up for user management. Let's just see if user could register another user. Okay. See, you're not privileged. As a user, you are not privileged to create this action. Only the admins are privileged. So let's just check it back. And let's just create, is it working with the uniqueness of the email? Because email is kind of needed unique. That's the unique constraint we are enforced here for user creation. Your email should be unique. It's just a standard we have kept. See, user already exists. So user uniqueness constraint has been enforced by the mail. Yeah, of course that's not fancy thing. It's just a classic thing. Even listing the users, only admin could list them, not the user. Let's see if user could list them. Nope. See, they can't because they are not privileged enough to do so. And let's see to delete a user. The user ones, I guess second. Let's just delete it with the user. See, we are not authorized to perform. But if we change it to admin, because admin has those privilege, user deleted successfully. And if you see the list user, you won't find it. And let's just register new user and just promote it to that. We created it. Let's create the new user. Change the API key. We change the API key. We generate the token for the user. But here's the thing, this is 24 hours expiry, so we can't set it up. We are promoting user and token are like the payload shows user, and when we change it, to admin, we need to create a new token because those are being updated. See, let's see if we keep this as a user GW token and we promote the same user. Say user cannot promote, okay? Yeah, but admin could. What I was supposed to say? F4, okay, that's the 4 ID. Okay, so user is now promoted to admin itself. But let's see if it could do that thing, Why this is happening? Because see, the token is of a window for a 24 hour, and we've set the previous token when the user was actual user. It was not admin. And now after generating the token which is based on user, we have promoted user to admin. So we need to refresh the token. And whenever you're building on top of it, remember that you need to rotate the tokens if you promote a user to admin. Please keep that in mind. You have to generate a new token because that's a new thing. Operating whole different thing. Now we set to user 0 token. It's not user anymore. See, it's now admin. So this is whole everything which I wanted to explain, which is very simple for basic access control, and try to keep it simple as much as possible, and build it in a great manner. I wanted to also share about the collection pull stats because this is what going to manage about the pull stats, which is actually the indexes in the middlewares that are going to create it, and those pull stats are important because we could see these are like kind of information we could monitor what's happening in the middlewares itself. And that was about whole thing about the user management. I hope you understand about it, and maybe you could learn a few bit about it, and it was easier for you to grasp from the video notes. Thank you.